I met her at the mortuary the day Mama sent me to carry food to my father who works there. Jesus Christ. I almost screamed out. Who is this girl and what's she doing here? I thought to myself in fear. Before I tell you what happened that day, you need to know who I am. My name is Michael. I was 21 when I first saw her squatting in the corner of the mortuary, in a yellow dress, barefoot. My dad was a senior mortician in that community mortuary. Every afternoon, Mama sent me to deliver lunch to my father. Being the only child, the job always fell on me. The community mortuary was just a 20-minute walk from our house. When I reached the mortuary, I would clap my hands twice and say, Oga M, food don land o. This was our code. Hearing this from wherever he was, he'd rush to meet me outside, collecting the food, and give me his usual warnings, don't ever walk inside unless I call you. Mortuary has spirits that don't like strangers. And then, I'd return back home. This had been the routine until one afternoon, after Mama handed me the flask of hot porridge beans and plantain, I headed to the mortuary. When I got there, I clapped twice. Oga M, food don land o. I said and waited for a couple of minutes, but he didn't come out. I was already getting bored, so I decided to walk around the area. That was when I saw this girl in one corner of the mortuary building, squatting. She was clad in a clean yellow gown barely above her knees. She was barefoot and looked really exhausted. Brothers and sisters, despite looking exhausted, her beauty still hit me immediately. Hey, are you here to see someone? I asked the moment I got close. She smiled, shyly. And in a bid to speak, I perceived the presence of someone. When I turned, it was my father. That very moment, I felt anger running through my veins. My hands went numb. My jaw worked like a trapped animal. I swear, if it was anybody else, I would have vexed openly. Of all the time in the world, why must it be now? I thought. But there was something weird about the look on my father's face. The moment he saw her, he stopped like someone poured cold water on him. She didn't see him from the corner where she was, but from her reaction, she knew someone had just walked in. He grabbed the flask from my hand and hastily walked inside, which was unlike him. I was confused and dumbfounded as to why he acted like that. Please. I beg you, don't tell him you saw me, she suddenly said. After the day I met that girl at the mortuary, I started visiting there often, just so I could see her. But everything about her was strange. Each time I take food to my father, I couldn't find her. The last time I saw her was the day Papa interrupted us, and her last words were, "Please. I beg you, don't tell him you saw me." She had run away without prior notice. I found myself thinking about her for days, her eyes, her curves, her looks, the unspoken words. Everything, just everything. The questions about who she was and her whereabouts never left my mind for days. I was never given the chance to ask for her name. I was still lost in thought when someone sprinkled water all over me. "Oh Mama, you should have called me instead of pouring me water now." I stood up from my bed, a bit livid. "Do you know how long I have been standing here looking at you?" She gazed sternly at me while adjusting her wrapper. "You didn't even notice. I have been calling you from the kitchen, but you didn't answer," she added. I couldn't get more angry, because she did that all the time. There were times when she needed my attention so badly. Especially very early in the morning. She would come to my room and wake me with cold water. Well, that's a story for another day. "Help me take this food to your father. He should be hungry," she said. I quickly wore my clothes and collected the flask. As I began to head to the mortuary, the thoughts of the girl engulfed me again. The scorching sun didn't help matters either. It wasn't my thing to give up so easily, if not I'd have done that after the first week of futile search for her. I got to the mortuary a few minutes later and delivered the food to my dad. But just when I was about to leave, I noticed someone with yellow clothes was sitting under the almond tree at the other end of the building. I didn't want to believe my instinct because it had failed me countless times. But the closer I got to the tree, the clearer the view became. And that yellow dress, yes, the yellow dress, it looked so familiar. Lo and behold, when I reached there, it was no other person but she. Yes, the mortuary girl. I call her Mortuary Girl because I had forgotten to ask her name last time. I couldn't contain the joy I felt when I saw her. I wanted to tell her how much I had missed her, the many days I've searched for her. But something in me said, Michael, you need to calm down. She was calm, and her gaze was directed at the floor. There was nowhere to fix my buttocks, so I sat on the ground with her. At least the tree was shielding the sun from us. I didn't know what to say or how to begin a conversation. But I needed to start from somewhere. I forgot to ask for your name the other day. Hearing this, I found her eyes on me, as if between two minds, if she was to tell me or not. My name is Maya. I managed to ask a couple of other questions, and even if she responded to them, most of her answers were vague, as if she was second-guessing the authenticity of my person. It was normal to feel that way after all. But there was just something strange about this girl. And whatever it was, made her seem even more fascinating. When it became a bit dark, I asked if I could walk her home. There'd be no need for that, was her answer. How about I get your contact? So I reach you after today. I pressed further. Maya didn't answer immediately. Her gaze returned to the ground. I sensed her uneasiness. Then she picked a cluster of tiny stones and started playing with them. Her hands were trembling. I don't have a phone. She quivered. To be honest, I didn't expect her response to break me the way it did. But I sensed fear in her. But the most heart-wrenching moment was when she stood up abruptly and ran away. Where are you heading? I found myself asking, perturbed. You don't need to know. I heard her voice from the distance. She ran as if she was being chased. And it got me really perplexed. Then from a distance I saw a figure running towards the mortuary. The person was fast. Too fast that I couldn't take a proper glance. Immediately the mortuary girl ran away from the almond tree. I saw another figure running very fast towards the mortuary from the opposite end of the road. When I looked cautiously, I found out it was a woman, and I presumed she could be in her early 50s. She was clad in an oversized pink gown. But even as she ran past me, all I could think about was Maya's face when she ran away. I mean, why was she acting so strange? Was she scared of my father? If she truly was, then what affiliation did she have with him? Why was she always barefoot? Why did it seem like she was scared? Yes, I knew what I saw, the fear in her eyes. The tremble in her arms. It was getting dark, so I stood up and started heading home. Mama must have been wondering what had kept me that long. She wouldn't know I was with a girl I barely knew a thing about. I had barely walked past the small mortuary gate, when the thought of the woman that had just passed hit me. It was as if something strange was prompting me to find out. My premonition was letting me. It was as if the place was pulling me back, whispering that there's something I was missing out. So I abruptly reversed back to the mortuary to see for myself. Guys, you wouldn't believe that I saw Papa with the woman, just the two of them. They spoke in whispers, and I could see fear in their reactions and body language. Wait. I hope it's not what I'm thinking. The thoughts hit me hard. As I peeped them through the tiny hole, so many thoughts ran through my mind. What if Papa is cheating? So many what-ifs. I wanted to run inside to confront them, but I felt it wasn't necessary. Maybe I was just overthinking it. I walked away quickly, trying to tell myself it was nothing. But no matter how much I tried to convince myself it was nothing, a heavy feeling followed me all the way home. When I got to the house that evening, Mama wasn't around. If she was, I'm sure she would have bombarded me with questions which I certainly wasn't ready for. The thoughts of Ibitoria alone were consuming. Talk more of the woman I saw with Papa. In a bid to silence the inner voices in my head, I just laid on my bed and forced myself to sleep. The room was too quiet, and that silence made my thoughts louder than ever. That was when it happened. It was sudden and unexpected. I was sitting under the almond tree when Maya walked up to me with bruises all over her body. Her eyes were red, and her face full of tears. Immediately, I felt a sharp pain in my heart. Maya, I stood up and walked to her. What happened? Please talk to me, Maya. Why are you crying? Did anyone beat you? I asked uneasily. She burst into a loud cry and hurried into my arms. Michael, she called amidst her wails. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to comfort her. I couldn't help how bad I felt to see her that way. He wants me deep down, Dad. He wants us deep down, Dad. Please help me. As I heard her say those words, I woke up, panting profusely. Jesus! I shouted, sitting up. So it's a dream. The mortuary girl refused to leave my head after the terrible dream I had that night where I saw her crying. He wants me dead, Dad. He wants us deep down, Dad. Please help me. Those words kept replaying in my subconscious. My eyes had stumbled on the wall clock. It was 2 a.m. midnight. Instantly, I felt the atmosphere become cold and fear engulfed me. So many strange questions pacing through the walls of my mind. Who could be after her life? So many questions that I had no answers to. Brothers and sisters, that was how sleep left my eyes. I gingerly sat up to see if I'd concentrate better. It didn't help. I got more lost in my confusion. I wanted to pray, to cast and bind the dream. That was what my mama usually did whenever she encountered any bad dream, and she taught me to do the same. But to be honest, that wasn't my thing. I can't even lie. That night was one of my longest. Until today, the memory is still fresh in my head. I kept checking the wall clock to see how many hours and minutes were left before dawn, and finally it did come. Around 6:49 a.m., I heard a knock on the door. When I rushed there to open, it was Mama. She entered with her Bible, and it dawned on me that she had slept in church. The morning progressed just like every other one, but for once, Maya didn't leave my mind. Later that day, I took food to Papa again. To my surprise, I saw Maya under the almond tree. She was barefoot and clad in that yellow gown. Guys, my stomach tightened and I almost smiled like a fool, but in awe, I tried and composed myself. That day happened to be different. When we got talking, she told me a few things about herself. She said she was 21 years old, and that her house wasn't far from the mortuary. That was why she often came there to receive fresh air since the area was always serene and peaceful. We were vibing very well until I asked after her family. Straight away, her countenance changed. When I noticed this, it became difficult for me to push the conversation forward. It grew more difficult when I saw clusters of tears run down her face. She couldn't control it. I saw it. I knew it. That day, it was easy to read her emotions via her reactions. Right there and then, the dream I had had the previous night came flashing at me. No, this isn't happening. I tried to fight off the thoughts. Maya, I called, gently, staring keenly at her. She raised her head to look at me. Gosh. Even with the watery eyes, she still looked like an angel. It was difficult to resist the charm her gaze casted on me. With the back of my hand, I managed to wipe off the tears in her eyes, then I pulled her into a tight hug. I expected her to resist, but she didn't. I'm here for you, Maya, I whispered, while caressing her hair from behind. I want you to see me as a friend you can always talk to, someone you can tell anything to without any fear of judgment, I added, still stroking her hair. Who do you want to see as a friend, Michael? Jeez. That voice. I knew that voice. Oh, shit. Wrong timing. That was Popo's voice. Maya and I jolted apart the moment we heard it. My heart was beating profusely. The moment I stood up to face my dad, Maya was nowhere to be found. The mortuary girl was nowhere to be found the moment I stood up to face my dad. My heart was beating profusely like that of a kid who had been caught stealing meat from the pot. Michael, this should be the last time I'll see you and this girl together, he said, his voice barely above a whisper, as if he didn't want the passers-by to hear him. All I could do was stare. You wouldn't believe how dumbfounded I was. Have I made myself clear? But Papa, I whispered. Do you know her? Why are you so against me seeing her? For a second, fear flashed in his eyes. Then it disappeared within a second. Enough, he said. You don't know what you're asking for. And I'm not warning you again. Before I could utter another word, he turned and walked back inside the mortuary, the small gate, swallowing him up as if he had never been standing there at all. But how did he know I was still around here? Was he spying on me? This thought hit me hard. Well, I wanted to give waiting a trial if Maya could show up again. Maybe she would be needing to receive fresh air again. Just maybe. I just didn't know. But deep down, somewhere in me knew it would be a futile effort and Papa's words. His words sank deep into me, so I had no alternative but to head back home. My heart was heavy, as if I was carrying a big burden. My legs felt weak. My head was starting to ache terribly. The following day's routine wasn't different. I took food to my father hoping I would see Maya. But even after sitting under that tree till evening, she didn't show up. I was pained, but didn't think much of it. So I went to my house. The next morning too, despite having to wake up with an optimistic mind, I still didn't see her when I took food to Papa. That was when I concluded that something was wrong. Not seeing her for just 2 days seemed like weeks. I lost my appetite for food. And at night, I slept earlier than I had often done the previous nights. If I had known where she stayed, heaven knows I would have gone there, but I didn't. Somehow, I began to think that she wasn't Maya. Maybe she gave me a wrong name. My thoughts were wild. Slowly, 3 days had gone without seeing her. The 4th day was a Friday. When it was time for Papa's lunch, Mama gave me the food. I reluctantly grabbed the flask and headed for the mortuary. The day felt dull and heavy, wrapped in thick clouds and cool chilling, uneasy air. A few minutes into my walk, I reached a halt, handed Papa his food and started heading back. As usual, I checked the almond tree to see if I'd find her there. That's what I usually do each time I go there. So when I took a long and careful gaze, I found someone in red, sitting under the tree. Curiosity wasted no time. It crept in. All of a sudden, I felt energetic. As I rushed down there, guess who I saw? Right before me was Maya. She didn't look surprised when she saw me. Maybe she was, but her reaction didn't reflect it. I went closer. And in a bid to sit, what my eyes saw left me stunned to the bone marrow. Her left eye was terribly swollen, her arms and legs had ACS, thick blood had dried up on the bruised areas of her SK, and in her eyes were clouds of unfallen tears. Immediately, I felt a sharp paw in the middle of my chest. I leaned closer. Maya, what happened to you? I asked. For a few seconds, there was silence between us. My dad, she said, wiping her eyes with the back of her hand. Her voice was barely above a whisper. He beat me. Your dad? I was shocked. You mean your dad still beats you? It's a long story, Michael, everything is just complicated. I don't even know where to start from. Plus, I don't want to bore you with my lengthy talk. Who told you that one? I fired immediately. Believe me, with the strange look she plastered on my face, she obviously didn't see that response coming. I adjusted a bit closer to her, and with a calm soothing tone, I began, see, listen to Maya, I'm here because of you. Ever since that day I saw you at the corner of the mortuary building, a day hasn't gone without me thinking about you. Since that day, didn't you notice how often I have been coming here to see you? She arched her brows, while maintaining a steady gaze at me as I spoke. By this time, the trails of her tears were gone. Even the days you didn't come here, I came here looking for you. So don't ever think your talk would bore me, okay? Treat me like your best friend. You can talk to me. I want to listen to everything you're going through. Wow. Wow, she chuckled, exposing her set of white teeth. To be honest with you, Michael, I'm speechless. Really speechless. Now can you tell me what happened to you? I asked, reigniting the prior seriousness. Then she looked around, to make sure no one was coming. When she saw no one, she cleared her throat a bit. My father is one of the few powerful, well-known and respected men in this community. Okay. Everything was fine until my mother learned he intended to use her for ritual to elevate his status in the community. I don't know how she got to know, but things changed. She inhaled and exhaled deeply, and continued. My father, who had never beaten my mom before, started beating her. This thing was very serious. Oh, she almost dead. And she had nowhere to go. And there was nowhere to hide either. If she was to complain to anyone, it wouldn't have gone anywhere because my father is very powerful. For now, the only safe place is the woody house behind the mortuary. Only a few of the morticians have entered that place. That's where your dad asked her to stay. Wait, you mean my dad? The story continues. Support the story, like, share, comment, and subscribe for the next part.